Okay. Yep. He's not lying. Where is it? Your channel. Videos. Sort by oldest. Hello. Hi. Salutations and greetings. My name is Marge. I'm a Hilk empath. I just like having these little talks. I'm a Hilk empath. I just like having these little talks on the way I feel about things. And being an empath, you always feel in some kind of way. You know how many people don't feel things? A lot of people don't feel things. I've met a lot of people in my life. They just ignore. They just don't feel things. It's a trip. It's weird. I can't stand next to somebody that's going through something emotionally or physically painful without feeling it for them. Can't see it on TV. I gotta be careful about what I watch, where I go, who I merge my energy with, merging with Marge. Anyway, I was looking at old videos. And if you go, if ever you're freaking got nothing better to do, if you got something better to do, don't waste your time. If you don't got nothing better to do, like, go to my videos on like a desktop, or I guess on a, but you just get a better experience on desktop and laptop computers than phone. People do everything on their phone, and you limit your freaking view, your scope. It's dumbed down a lot. So. and sort with oldest, and I was scrolling back through, like, because I always get nostalgic around anniversaries, and the 25th, I know someone has an anniversary today. Happy birthday, birthday. Anniversary, 2 A's. But my tube, I started it the 26th of March 2017, so I'm going on my year anyway. So I was like, my Nobel Prize. That we came into each other's lives so I could help him pass on. Sharing is caring, I certainly do. That was the first one I ever did, really. But there's some good ones in here. Find strength and vulnerability. I cry like a sissy daily. 5D glossary. What is that space speak? This is back when my head was shaved, because I freaking had these little clippers and the guard broke, and it took it down to the scalp right in the middle of my head. So I was like, alright, let's just do it, because I didn't want no bald spot. Well, anyway, where's my... What happened? How did that... I didn't do that. There's some good stuff in here, because I'm talking about what's happening now. That's what's cool about it. One of my favorites that sticks out is Head Shaking episode, Getting Back to Grassroots. Where my feet have been. Mom says, where are their feet, Marge? Where are their feet? You know, people in your lives. Oh, I'll always be there for you. Where are their feet? And that's why I'm careful not to say things like that myself. Because sometimes my feet can't be where they want to be. Why saying get over it sucks? That one's pretty cool. This was also... I'm under the trees in Oregon. It makes me kind of miss it. Not a lot, though. I carry it with me in my heart a lot. Salty, watery, gross. I won't eat it no more. From my left to my right, love light. This is when I first started the channel and cowlicks and all day evening. I started this channel for a few different reasons. One of them is because I have a couple nieces and I don't get to live near them because it just hasn't the opportunity hasn't presented itself. So I'd like to have them know who their poopy was. I once heard that means my brother's sister. It's poopy, not poopy. There's a difference. So, anyway, they're out in California and I'm not. So I want, when they get a little bit older, I want them to know the history, my account from my, because there's too many stories going around, too many rumors, it's really windy out today. It's chilly. And I don't like this song right now. Sublime. Listen to a little sublimey, get a little sublimey. Alright, I found my airman's coin. It's not gone forever. They give these to you in basic training. I wonder how they look. I think every year they're probably different. Right? Look at that. Core values. Integrity first, service before self, excellence in all we do. If only that were fucking true. If this wasn't such a big crock of shit. I love this land, man, but the people freaking ruined it, dude. People freaking... I'm holding out. I think we can, I don't know. They've been taking freaking land since they took this land, They just like to go over and take this land. They all got it twisted. They played freaking chess with somebody significant when they were little, and then their egos got out of control, and so they just want it all. And it's a lot of psychological stuff. People think they're more important than other people based on who they are and their names and the color of their skin and and the reality of it is we're all just shades of the same color spectrum, and everybody vibes in frequency, and some people vibe real low and do a lot of real Keijin shared a video with some information that a key contributor of her troll something or other put up, and I was like, that makes sense, because all this truth is coming out about human trafficking of all ages, not age discriminatory, and a lot of these are by companies that are doing it, but that freaking rich people freaking invest in, and it's just all this slippery, slimy, freaking nasty freaking business of human farming, and they, and I was just thinking about the tours, and then if I go back, I'm gonna probably do it. I'm gonna try and do it. Take the time. But I remember, what year was Katrina? Hurricane Katrina. Hurricane. Where is it? I'm hooked. I got such an addictive personality. I'm even hooked on phonics. I spell by sound. So it was 2005. So I was still in the Air Force. And I couldn't believe when I heard that they were not sending aid down to the people of the United States, and they sent all this aid over to Haiti after the tsunami. I was like, man, that's a big red flag, and I was just like, that's it, because they're in and then I started looking in retrospect. Hindsight is 2020. And I was like, shit, because they freaking nabbed up all the freaking kids. were displaced and stuff for their own good. You know, and all these famous people that have made all their money doing world tours, you know, and they ship all their freaking tour stuff over in cargo crates and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, that wasn't kids a year ago disappearing, but people are like, that doesn't happen, and that doesn't, until fucking somebody, it happens to somebody they know. I know plenty of people that have been disappeared. I was 15, 14 when I saw my first snuff film. I know what happens to people that end up on milk cartons, people that get disappeared. Some freaking weirdos doing weird playing out some weirdo fantasy. Happens all the time. It's commonplace, and people are like, that doesn't happen. And there's a whole world that exists where, but most of the majority of the people don't live in a world where that stuff happens. People don't have sex with babies. Oh yeah, I read the police report. That's why my hip always treated me a kind of way, looked at me kind of way. Is she like that because of freaking she was baby raped when she was 10 months old? No, I'm not even the same person on the cellular basis. I freaking hate that shit. People that are like, you know, you stuck in your No, I freaking like to give people examples of, I don't know what other people are going through, but evidently a lot of people are hurt and going through a lot of shit because the world is shit, and it's a reflection on how people feel inside. I want to help people get past their crap, because I've gotten past my crap, and I love watching practitioners and holists and all these people going, I can help you heal, I can help you heal, and I'm just like, what the fuck is the worst thing you ever been through? What are you going to help them get? Because there's people that have been through a lot worse, and psychologists and psychiatrists and all these paid professionals that just like to write prescriptions to freaking numb people out. Living in the land of zombies? Yeah, junkies and drunks and addicts. Narcissists and psychopaths. That's Zombieville, folks. People without emotions. People that are so guarded, they keep a persona as to who they are, and it's completely contrary to who they are. I ain't all love and light. People think I'm all love and light. You got the wrong idea about me. It ain't all, what did Jesse say? I don't know, unicorns and candy or something like that. You know what they do? It's like, it's everything. It's like all these people research this stuff on how to play with people's minds and toy with people's minds. And if people think too much for themselves, then we got to put them in a category, because we don't want that oozing out to the other people. Because if we can just get people to think what we want them to think, then we can create a whole story of what this world is, you know, and they already started dropping bombs. You know, and it's all this stuff, military, it's all to sell coins and awards and plaques and ribbons. It's all for the overhead. They keep building the important people. You know, for years they've been rebuilding Stratcom $1 billion facility, right? But like the maintainers, us maintainers that are doing the mission, we couldn't get freaking oil filters for our equipment and shit like that. Yeah, we couldn't get them because the money wasn't there. But every year, the freaking management would get new freaking, get out of the sun, Ben, you get too hot. You get all new stuff. New furniture, cherry wood furniture, and it freaking, because we always had to load it and shit like that, and it's just like, why do they do this? Well, the money's there, and if you don't spend the money, then you lose the money. Well, if you don't you don't fucking need it, and then maybe freaking more homeless people can eat and shit like this. See, that's the thing, is this country's done a lot of really gross shit. It's done some good, I guess it's done some good stuff. I mean, people have the idea of wanting to come here for freedom, and then they get here and they're like, oh shit, I was better off where I was. Beeline, shit shot. I mean, we're a laughing stock, man. This country's a joke. Because frickin' Uncle Sam got pervy and senile. Put too much money into frickin' boner pills and shit like that, and they don't care about the people. It's what egos do. That's not what spirits do. People get it twisted. You know, look around, look at what people are doing, all the federal funds that are going into all the millions and billions of dollars, you know, all the bailout freaking shit that goes into the city and local governments. What are they doing? They all got new vehicles. They don't care. And it's so funny that they're making such a big display about freaking whatever, and how many federal buildings got torched all over the nation in the last year. Nobody fucking gave a shit about that, you know. It's all a show, man, and people cast themselves as freaking pawns in it every day because they don't have the gumption and the know-how to think for themselves. You don't even know what a freaking lie feels like. Like, bullshit. No, that might be true. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. That's bullshit, you know. And anybody that signs the back of a paycheck to put it in the bank instead of the front of the paycheck, you're just going on with whoever. You're just bending over to whoever. Whatever you're willing to serve. I don't get a paycheck. I gotta get creative with how I earn my resources, my income. My overhead is freaking, you know, our bills are paid and rent and stuff like that, but anything extra, I rely on the kindness of strangers because people I know suck. You know? My circle is very small. I don't even think my friends, people on friends list on Facebook, they're not even my friends. They just like to stay plugged in to see freaking what she's gonna do next. You know? Like, I fucking want to move from Oregon to freaking New Mexico. Like, I wanted to do any of that. You know, of all the people with all the real estate and all the houses of all the important people I've ever known, ain't nobody gonna help, you know. Whatever. It's all lip service, man. Mostly people are fake. Mostly people are fake. I was 26 when I went into the Air Force, so I knew it was all bullshit. You stand there at the end of Warrior Week, they give you this cone, they play, the coin, they play Wind Beneath My Wings from frickin' Beaches, you know. Oh, I watched that with my mom, tear, you know. It's just all freaking pageantry. You know, and I think, oh, well, people, I could only do 6. I could only do 6 because I couldn't stand the swinging dicks and who's in charge. I'm like, dude, this is what, I thought people went into the military force structure, and I'm like, dude, there's no hope. There's no hope because there's no structure in the military. There isn't. And they're all freaking, I mean, I know who's on, the people that I was going into basic with, a lot of them are retiring. A lot of them really freaking let themselves go. Really let themselves go. When blessings spoil, man, people get freaking, they deserve it. They do very little all day, so they have to go home and do more of very little. But then on the weekends, buy yourself all the toys. ATVs, new cars every freaking 2-3 years. New duty station. You know. It's all a crock. It's all a big system. And if you play the rules, that's why I'm like, dude, I never played by the rules because I'm just like, dude, because it didn't matter what they were. And I'd like to be an example. Well, if people aren't going to go by rules, then let me just go out and see how far out the box we can go. Just to show, you know, and then they'd make an example out of me. You want to know how a person is and operates? You put them in positions to hang out with regular people if they think they're important, that can't do anything for them. You find out who they really are. There's a lot of ways to find out how people really are. There really are. There's a lot of ways. And people are revealing themselves. They aren't as rad, you know. I'm never going to stand up here and say I make mistakes all the time. I make mistakes every day. I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. And then I got this one. I wonder where my age one is. I have an age one. It was like it was like 122 out of 250. It's in one of my videos. I saw it. They used to have at the officers club or whatever. You had to buy everybody a drink. stupid bullshit. All the stuff, people go, I think about that. I was like, there's some groups of people that are going in and they're doing the killing and they're doing the harm and they're doing all the blow up stuff, They like it, otherwise they wouldn't do it, That's why there's a mentality of people that they freaking put in that, and then some people come to the fact that they don't like it. That they thought they liked it, but they really don't. And that causes a great deal of cognitive dissonance in people. But still, then you see other people. Look how many people are freaking finding out they got siblings in Vietnam and all these military areas. Because these guys, your dedicated, loyal husbands and bullshit are going over there and freaking having extramarital affairs. And then you got the whole gay in a way. And I was surprised when I heard about that. I had a roommate, Mike. He's like, yeah, dude. Freaking most dudes are gay. They'll identify as straight, but a lot of them are just, they'll do it because it feels good. People just like to freaking chasing sensations, and he even went on to explain how a lot of times it's about power and control. And I was like, well, ain't no reason for me. But people do weird things, and if you don't have that headspace and mind space that people have, then you're not gonna get it. In your mind, that world don't gonna exist. But if you've been exposed to it and you know that stuff exists, the world is a much smaller, bigger place. It's a smaller world with a broader spectrum from shadow to light. And everybody has the potentials for it. And I found the more that people like stuff, like the dude, that always act like, oh, everything's great, and I bought the person a coffee behind me today, and blah, blah, just all this fairy tale fluff, programmable bullshit that people have been living by. No, that ain't gonna cut it in this world in this day and age. People got to do more. Some people are of the ideology that God is, that we are all gods. I'm like, oh, I could see how we're little specks of gods. Like we're a little mirror image of God on the mirror disco ball. And how we reflect. Are we living more from the, and God gives us a brain to fire off freaking brain power to come up with ideas. And oftentimes people come up with ideas. What can I do to make $1 gazillion to get all the things that I want to fill up all this empty space inside? Or you have the people that come up with the ideas to help everybody in their community. There's a vast difference, and none of them are in DC. They're lawyers, dude. Lawyers are freaking, who knows a really rad lawyer? I have a brother who's one. I still don't know any really rad lawyers. It's a mentality, man. I've known a couple that are cool, but this was years ago, and I don't even know how he's evolved. And their blessings have spoiled them too. Jesuit University, all that stuff. Anyway, there's just keep, take. They got that. It's just weird. They're verbal dancers. Doesn't matter what they believe in. The other person is always wrong. And it's just talking in circles makes my third eye twitch. I just hate fake shit, man. I just hate fake stuff. And they're like, oh, laws. I'm like, no, laws don't have anything to do with anything. It's a weird story. I've been tracking that freaking lady in Australia that got offed because she ripped off the wrong people. So they freaking, I don't know, I think they found her foot. They found her shoe. I don't know if her foot was in it. But that's a weird story that's been going on. See, people are just coming unhinged, and they don't got that voice inside them that says, no, you don't hurt people. No, you don't cause harm to others or animals. No, you don't put your hand on anything out of anger. You don't steal. You don't sexually harass, assault, they don't got that voice in them. So they just go around and do whatever they want. And then they can throw bones every now and again and say, it's just very disingenuous. People in $10,000 suits, pushing papers back and forth across the desk saying, no, this is, it's just all business. And they get away with it, and they've gotten away with it for years and years and years, and they're going to keep getting away with it. So I think people need to live local. That's my heart space. People need to live local and just make your local community a good place, All these freaking fat hogs that are freaking sucking the dicks of society, that are, the state employees. All these state employees and these local government, they're just as freaking bad. They're just as bad. But, think about all the people that benefit from it. One of them. Oh, you can't talk about I know someone who works I'm like, okay, what do they do to take care of themselves? They're just collecting a paycheck. People are just collecting paychecks, and it's just like, okay, we have the spirit of things, the God of it, the heart space to do for all and the goodness of others, and then you have the opportunities. And the thing of it is we are all tapping into collective consciousness, and people that are of the me, they're going to come to the realization. It may not happen. You want to know why so many military officers, they say that veterans, like 22, 23 a day, commit suicide. My opinion is there's a few different reasons. The officers that freaking, the higher ups, the brass, they got, for years, made people dance because they had to, because of their rank. So people have to do what you say. Even if it's freaking batshit crazy, if you say it, they have to. Even if there's a rule or a regulation that says, don't do this, if that officer says, do it, you gotta do it. Isn't that entrapment? Right? So, go over here and kill these people, and then we'll blow up their freaking oil mines, or take them over, or do whatever. Syria, a lot of that, it's about weed. They got some good weed in Syria. It's taking something that isn't belong to ours, and there's hell to pay for that. There's karma in that. You don't get to do that. Uncle Sam been a bully for years. I was stationed at Offutt. That's where they modified the Enola Gay, the aircraft that dropped the bomb on Hiroshima. I was in Operation Iraqi Bullcrap. They killed a lot of innocent people, and Assange is still locked up. He's still locked up for exposing that. Seeing those videos of those pilots getting their rocks off from freaking killing innocent people, dude, that ain't no day for any American to be proud of. And whose son was that? Whose brother was that? Whose uncle was that? And where was their responsibility? And or did, was that behavior condoned in your family? No apparent reason. They give you these coins. Don't let your children sign up for this shit anymore. Okay? Teach them something viable. Upholstery. That's freaking gonna be something that, people have, because people get more nostalgic the older you get, so they want to keep some furniture that was their grandfather's, or something in the family. Want to up the upholstery, I'm a professional. Computers too, hardware and software. I'm not a programmer. Don't let your family buy into this bullshit. I did it. You know why? I went in when I was 26 because I knew I was going to be mom's primary caregiver. I was going to be looking out for her my whole life. From the time I was 15, she had her stroke. So I'm like, well, I got to go to college. I ain't never going to get it on my grades. I barely graduated high school to 2.0, barely. But I got a 96 on my ASVAB. And mechanics. So, and then I played a lot. And I liked to drink. Then I had a lot of hurt. So I got stuck in that. treadmill of vicious cycle of freaking the same day. You want to, talk about living the same day. So I went into the Air Force, and then I freaking went to college and did both at the same time. Working on 2 degrees. Then Mom came out to live with me. She was cool on her own then, but moving around, it takes a lot, does a lot. And as I understand it, both of my parents had traumatic head injuries, and the part of the brain, even in the regular body, the part of the brain that is affected, the cells just continue to die. So it's always something new. It's always some sort of interesting behavior or idiosyncrasy. I do what I let her live. I do let her do whatever she wants. I remind her of a lot of stuff. I cook all the meals. I do all that. Okay, Mom, gotta soak feet. She doesn't like taking showers and stuff like that. She doesn't like the sensation, and she gets dizzy. So she doesn't like closing her eyes to do all it. So I'd let her live in her dignity, but personal hygiene's important too. So we got to do a lot of stuff, and she gets mad at me for it. But she always feels better when she's done. I don't have kids, but I know what but I used to act like that. I don't want to take a bath. I don't want to, I'm like getting it back. It's a freaking trip. It's kind of a funny thing. She's a dear, lovely woman, and ain't no system ever did her any favor to before, and I'm not gonna be another person to let her down. Because at some point, sometime, somebody told me that family is all that matters, and so I treated her accordingly, based on that heart space, and I tried to treat other family members, but they didn't treat me that way back. So you gotta let them go. So now my circle is very small. Anyway, I think I've been running my mouth. Keegan, thank you for sharing me. I freaking dig her, man. That video last night, it put a lot of stuff together, because I put a lot of stuff together too, because I listened to a lot of Jesse and just I have my mind. My whole life I was thinking about it this morning. My grandma was a real estate agent in Atascadero, California. If you want to freaking know about the history of a place and the people who they are, it's the real estate agents, because they can, if they want you there, they'll get you a good deal. You'll get that house, but if people don't want you in a place, you ain't gonna get there. If it's divine, it's divine. And so Keegan has really helped me put a lot of stuff together of just like, and I'm always, so like Grandma had a real estate, and I was always like, I always felt that there was something about her, and that whole, and then they did terrible things like kidnapped us. They took us. That's how I know. I'm like, it's funny that people live in this world where this stuff doesn't happen, because I always lived in a world where it always did. Like, Mom had a doctor's appointment. I must have been 2 or 3. And my brother was like, maybe he's 2.5 years older than me. So, she was back and I wanted to go with her, and the doctor was like, no, you guys got to wait out in the waiting room. And then my aunt shows up. I'm like, what are you doing here? Oh, your mom called, said you. So we took off. Mom came out. We were gone. How did they know where we were? Who told the people that we were in a custody suit with? And then Mom didn't see us for like 7 months. 7 months. 6, 7 months in the back of a car driving down the street. So I had separation anxiety and stuff like that when I was, because stuff like with reason. But this is all stuff I got past. This is all stuff that you don't have to freaking, live your life today because of stuff like that happened then. But people now, as people are just like, they've been living glass houses in these little bubbles, and like ain't nothing ever gonna happen. Like a happy, joyful life is a life where nothing bad ever happens. what freaking planet are they living on, y'all? Yeah, where they come? I want to go live on their planet, because my planet has a lot of really beautiful things in it. You know, marvelous things, outworldly things. At the same time, a lot of dark stuff too. But you can't have one without the other. You know, so. I appreciate you stopping through and coming by and hanging out and seeing about me, if that's what you did.